Hi, I want to share with you today another way of seeing how love is always a part of the equation. You want whatever you want, and the wanting part is not hard for us. It's not hard for us to want things. But whatever it is you want, all the things that you want, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will give them all to yourself. And the reason that is because you need to love yourself in order to give to yourself. So the things that you want, you will give them to yourself when you love yourself enough to give them to yourself. So even in the law of attraction, it's just a pretty empty law without love. The law of attraction is just a simple law that says that the inner and the outer are equal. What you are being, the state of being, manifests. And so the inner and the outer are equal. It's an equation. So what I'm focusing on here is the state that we're coming to things from. Because if we're coming to things from a state where we're not satisfied, then whenever we attain those things, if ever we attain those things, we will still not be satisfied because they are a reflection of the state that created them. And if the state that created them was dissatisfaction, then they will reflect that back. So you may have that car, and that car will still reflect to you dissatisfaction because that is the state you created it from. It's just as simple as that. So again, love always enters the equation because anything you create out of love, or if you have a difficulty with that contaminated word, love, anything you create out of this state of wholeness, out of the state of all is well, out of the state that is not the state of needing, that it is a state of completion, then whatever you create from that state will reflect back to you that wholeness, that completion, that fullness, that love, that peace. And almost paradoxically, to create from that state is to be very little concerned with the external. Because when you are in your center, you are connected to the most powerful power. In your center, you stand firm and still no matter what happens outwardly. That is, what monks have called perfect meditation, or even the monks who have burned themselves in protest. And the monk sat in stillness and his body was being burnt. That center, that's seemingly an extreme case, but that center, that is the power of that center. Literally nothing matters to it. So I'm not saying, go down and sit down and burn yourself. But when you connect to that center, you see and you know that what you are, you really know you're eternal. You really know it. And you really know that you were never born and you will never die. And you really know that all things are transient. So that in itself gives you peace. And it doesn't mean that you stop creating because you can't stop creating. You're always creating. Just now you're creating from a different state. And it doesn't mean that you have to stop imagining the things that give you pleasure, or, be in a space of no thought all the time, or anything of that sort. that is not what I mean. I mean, there's always room to play. There's always room to play, but where within you, where inside you are you playing from? Where within you? What state of being? Because it's the state of being that really matters. It's the state of being that creates. It's the state of being that gives you your thoughts and your emotions, and eventually goes down to the physical, and you embody that state of being, and you will see that since there's no separation between the inner and the outer will and must reflect it. But don't be fooled by the judgments of society. Society might say that, your outer reflection is inadequate in such a way, because you don't have a university degree, or, all kinds of things that in the eyes of societies are not enough. But that is the state out of which we've created most of our ideas in society, is the state of not enough, which in other words is the ego. The ego is simply a state of not enough, and actually never, ever enough. Again, because as I said, when you create out of the state of not enough, whatever you create will reflect not enough back to you. You're just looking in the mirror. That is all you're doing. So literally, very literally, it does not matter what you have. It matters what state you create from. It matters what state you create what you have from. So first, before going and creating all the beautiful things that you want to create, center yourself. Go inside, know the true power of who you are, and know that what you are cannot be touched. It is always present and unscathed by the appearances of this world, of this universe. And anything you do from that state, you will feel that the doing, any project you take on yourself, for example, you'll feel totally different. You'll feel that you're offering something in what you're doing. You'll feel that you'll feel giving. You'll just feel the feeling of giving. And, that is what a lot of people call love, where love is just not being so in yourself, in your own mind, so deeply that you can't, lift your head out and breathe and really see and really be and really expand, and be clear. So love is the state that is not that. Love is the state is that when you're out of that ambiguous, confused state, conflicted state. Love is not the state of not enough. It's out of that state. And then you'll feel that you're doing things in a whole way. And in that way, the energy that you're putting into them will attract something entirely different than what you're doing out of a divided state. And that is real giving. That is real giving, doing something out of a whole undivided state. And that is actually really putting love into it. It's not really, that's a form of speaking, putting love into it, but it's doing it out of love. So yes, love is what will come back from it. Love is the vibration that whatever you did carries. So in a sense, that is what you're really offering to people. You're offering that vibration. So it's not so much, for example, now about what I'm saying. It's much, much more about how I'm feeling and how I'm being while I'm saying all of this. Because what I'm really offering to you right now is my state of being, and that's really what we're always offering to ourselves and to the world. So back to the point where I started, when you want to manifest anything in your life, know that the part of the equation that is crucial to the law of attraction is coming out of the state of love. And again, if you don't love yourself enough to give it to yourself, you won't. You just won't give it to yourself. So love is all encompassing. It goes outside to, there is no outside really, but it is objectless really. It's or indiscriminate, you could say. It just doesn't care what object is in front of it. You're being that state that you're being just because you're being that state that you're being, that state of love. It's without reason. It's without reason. You just are being love. So be love to yourself. When you think of something that you want, be love. And you will instantly see that yes, you will see a yes that arises in you. And it is saying, yes, I'm open to that. I'm open to giving that to myself. I love myself enough to nurture myself. I love myself enough to feel more of myself. You will not be able to see what's wrong and why not. You'll not be able to focus on the doubt. You will just feel very clean and clear about it. So I hope this is helpful to whoever's listening. And expand joyfully.